Valley checks in for the Barons with him. And Marge Schott and
Crossroads in its title quest. And so we tell you that this morning at 1:30 a.m., Anthony Mason was arrested by Westchester County Police in New York City or New York State for driving with a suspended license. Teammate Charles Oakley posted bail. Mason was released for a June 16th court date. Now, the shot and the foul heard around all of sports. The final shot the Knicks took from the floor last night, the last defensive play of a brilliant defensive evening by Scottie Pippen, whistled by Hugh Hollins for fouling Hubert Davis. The call stunned the Bulls. It decided the game, and now the question, can the champions recoup? A question for Andrea Kramer. Andrea?
The Bulls didn't have much of a practice here at their facility. Phil Jackson did not make his starters and guys who played heavy minutes in Game 5 take to the court. They all did watch tape of the first couple of quarters, but not the last one. Jackson got that out of the way immediately after the game.
We did something we normally don't do, and that was watch the tape last night on the flight back. We normally don't do that on our plane, and so we mostly digested. I didn't want these guys to stay up the rest of the night and fret and fuss about it, and so we got it out of our systems last night.
Some, like Scottie Pippen, who got tagged with a controversial foul, wanted no part of rehashing the disappointment. Just as the Knicks had last year, now the Bulls have tortured memories of Game 5.
The guys are pretty despondent, very despondent as a matter of fact, and pretty upset, but there's nothing you can do. That's the frustrating thing is there's no way that you can, there's nowhere to go except forwards with something like that.
Unlike in Game 3, when a last-second win hinged on performance, Tony Kukoc's shot, there was a feeling amongst the Bulls that, despite Hubert Davis's clutch free throws, players weren't allowed to decide the outcome. An arbitrary decision did.
It's been a kind of an understanding that officials don't decide the outcome of a last-second game like that, and then it's up to the players to decide it. And he was a veteran official, and he made his call and he stuck by it. And I think he and the rest of us will have to live with that.
There wasn't a complaint that came from this team or this organization last year when Charles was legitimately hammered twice on 4 layup attempts in Game 5. There might have been a little bit of amazement at that moment, but you let it go.
If you want to make excuses, you want to find a way out. We certainly have our way out. We can blame it on somebody else, but really the blame lies right here. You don't put yourself in a game situation on somebody else's court where the determination of the event can be taken out of your hands by a call like that.
Also tonight in Denver, Game 6 between the Jazz and the Nuggets. But Jazz owner Larry Miller are Maurice Barnett, I should say, of Elizabeth City State, Rennie Clemens of Illinois, Cedric Curry of North Dakota State, Thomas Hamilton is a freshman from Pitt, Lamont Haynes of Augusta College, Cedric Moore from Alabama, and Johnny Tyson from Central Oklahoma. The new 7 added to the final list of underclassmen. Late word from Philly, where the Daily News is reporting that Bobby Clark is about to return as the team president of the Flyers. Clark is currently the GM of the Florida Panthers.
At the memorial today, Mark Brooks.
But a quarter to midnight back east, the Rockets and the Suns could in fact be the last game Charles Barkley ever plays. The Rockets are a win away from advancing to the Western Conference Finals, but their concentration and their preparation today was disrupted. Here's Pam Oliver in Phoenix.
Since coming back to Phoenix down 3-2, the Suns have avoided the media. Yesterday, they sent out a couple of sacrificial lambs to address reporters. Danny Ainge and Kevin Johnson were the lucky ones. They jokingly came out armed to the teeth with cliches like now or never. But in the case of the Suns, these cliches may be corny, but they are true.
Our backs are against the wall. This is no time to be funny or to try to display a lot of flair any other place in the court. And I think that's where we're at. Our backs are against the wall, just like I'm standing right here.
Could this actually be Charles Barkley's last game? Well, remember, he's threatened to retire. But frankly, a lot of people don't believe him.
I've been hearing that all season long, but that was very difficult for me to believe, unless he's having a major physical problem.
And Hakeem adds he's really not all that interested in Barkley's retirement plans. He and the Rockets are more concerned with putting the Suns away. But not so fast. 6 times on the playoff road last year, the Suns faced elimination only to scratch and claw their way out of the coffin on 5 occasions. In this game, the Suns will drastically need to turn around their struggling offense if they are going to force a Game 7. And finally, on a more serious note, there was a bomb threat at the Rockets team hotel this afternoon. The Rockets weren't there at the time. The hotel was evacuated as a precaution, but no explosives were found. That's the story from Phoenix. Now let's go back to the studio.
All right, Pam, and still ahead on SportsCenter, Latrell Sprewell, recognized today as one of the elite guards in the NBA. Sprewell's amazing journey to the head of the class is next.
If you can get...
And writers have named their all-NBA team today. Scottie Pippen, the leading vote-getter, averaging 24.5 points, almost 9 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and 3 steals per game. Akeem Olajuwon, who led the Rockets to the Midwest Division title, is the All-NBA first-team setter. Akeem was second in the league in block shots, third leading scorer, and fourth leading rebounder. Karl Malone joins Olajuwon as the only repeater on the first-team All-NBA squad. The mailman averaged more than 25 points and 11.5 rebounds per game this season. In the backcourt, the mailman's special deliverer, John Stockton. He led the NBA in assists for the 7th consecutive season. Stockton also averaged 15 points and shot 53% from the field. Biggest surprise of the starting All-NBA team, Latrell Sprewell, who became the Warriors' leading scorer this year, averaging 21 points per game, taking over when Tim Hardaway and Sharunas Marciulionis went down for the season. The All-NBA second team, Kemp, Barkley, and the Admiral up front, Mitch Richmond and Kevin Johnson in the backcourt. And here's the third team, Derek Coleman and Dominique Wilkins, along with Shaquille up front, Mark Price and Gary Payton in the backcourt. Kenny Anderson was next in the voting, but Anderson's going to spend the summer with a cast on his left wrist. He's going to have surgery next week after a break was discovered in that wrist for the second time in 15 months. Anderson, who isn't exactly sure when he rebroke the wrist, certainly played down the stretch with the fracture. Doctors say Kenny Anderson should be fully recovered in time for training camp in October. Robin.
Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback Rod Woodson has filed a lawsuit against the city of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and 2 police officers. Among other charges, Woodson claims he was wrongly arrested in May of 1992. A native of Fort Wayne, Woodson was charged with battery and resisting arrest after a dispute with his brother, Jamie Woodson. Rod Woodson was acquitted in March of last year. And 7 Stanford athletes were arrested by campus police earlier this week. They are accused of spray painting the school's gay liberation sculpture and bashing it with a bench. Among those arrested were backup quarterback Mark Butterfield and linebacker Jason White. The Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office is reviewing the case to determine whether or not to file charges. Well, coming up, tonight's cover story, Michael Jordan may not play for the Bulls anymore, but he knows what time it is. It's time to watch his former mates, like most of us do, on TV. Gotta go, gotta go. MJ, when we come back.
Enjoy basketball's outrageous king in this spectacular new video, Sir Charles. It's the amazing adventures of Charles Barkley, and it's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. Call now and get an emotional, intimate, and power-packed look into one of sports' most fascinating personalities. Through rare footage, you'll follow the bouncing Barkley from high school to college and the pros as he goes from super kid to superstar. Get the inside story from a guy who doesn't pull any punches.
No one player can guard me, and y'all can write that down.
He's the one and only Sir Charles, free from Sports Illustrated. Call now, and you'll also get this collector's NBA Jam Session cap free with your paid subscription. Get 54 issues of SI, including the 2 big football previews for only $1.47 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. Call now and get your Barkley video and Jam Session hat free from SI. There is no one like Charles Barkley, and there is nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Cummins ball is not one of the sports the latter-day Bull and current-day Baron has chosen to pursue.
Bob Lee now with Jordan's new line of work, while his old team has evolved another knockdown drag-out with the Knicks, Bob.
When you think back to last night, actually, last night was quite an evening for Carolina basketball alums all over. First, Scott Williams stirred the pot for the Bulls as he overslept for the Bulls shoot-around, and then former Tar Heel Hubert Davis hit those 2 free throws to win Game 5. All the while, Michael Jordan played baseball in Birmingham. Basketball is far from Michael's mind. In fact, if he talks about hoops at all, it's only to lament the attitude among the younger NBA pros. Now, he's a baseball player, just a basketball fan, far from the playoff madness of last night's Game 5. Tonight's cover story. Not quite 3 o'clock in Birmingham, and under a championship banner, Michael Jordan arrives at work. There are champions in New York feeling the pressure unique to the NBA spring, Game 5. The outcome will frame the rest of the Bulls season.
Go ahead and stand right in your place where you're going to hit from. Where you're going to hit from. Okay, now you know that you've got long enough extension. You don't have to go too far in, okay? Yeah, because of the length of your arm.
This is game 39 of a 140-game season for Jordan's Barons. Another short chapter in the leisurely novel that is a baseball season. 4,724 fans are here, paying between $2.50 and $5.50 a seat. In New York, the beautiful people are on the aisle. The good seats command 4 figures. Game 5 is a happening.
At forward at 6'7" from Central Arkansas, number 33, Scottie Pippen.
Playing right field, number 37, Tom Woods. And next to the pitcher, number 46, Chris Remy.
And now, please welcome the Atlantic Division champion, your New York Knicks.
Why baseball? Do you miss basketball? These are old questions, no longer issues this night of Game 5. The game where, last year, Jordan's Bulls won a 3rd straight game over the Knicks to establish their three-peat momentum.
This season, what I've gone through with this team, I've had a lot more fun than I would have during the course of that season. There's no big heads, there's no ego. I mean, they don't have anything to have an ego about, so that's a good atmosphere to be around.
Nice return, the rejection by Ewing.
I don't feel like he's in 2 places at once. I feel like his heart is here, his body's here, and he is very happy competing at this level, trying to get to the major leagues.
It's pretty weird because, we were watching it the other day in Raleigh, and it's pretty strange because we're seeing Pippen, shooting all the big shots, and when you're used to seeing Jordan take the big shots, I mean, it is kind of strange, and you realize he's there in the locker room with you, and you kind of watch him and his reactions, but you can't tell nothing from him.
Tonight, he's the DH, so he has the time to play a little cat and mouse with our camera, and also send the bat boys, he calls them ball boys, into the clubhouse for occasional score updates. Jordan studies the game next to his hitting coach, while Scottie Pippen starts hitting in New York. There is levity in Birmingham, while Pippen, the man who would succeed Jordan as the signature player on a championship team, tries to make that come true.
Who comes for Pippen? Beautifully done.
Jordan is in the process of going 0 for 4, but his team is about to win. John Starks is energizing the Knicks.
The stretch and the pitch. It's a bunt. Back to the box. Seelbach has it. Onto first. It is close. And Michael out by a half a step.
Shot clock at 3. Armstrong gets it up and hits. B.J. Armstrong.
The baseball game ends, but the frantic, unforgiving playoff battle is at a crossroads with minutes to go. Jordan watches in the clubhouse until 2 TV crews enter, and he retreats to the privacy of the manager's office.
Myers pops it to Pippen. It was knocked away by Mason.
No!
He wanted solitude from the cameras to watch his former mate's final moments.
No different from a fan, But see, my actions would be taken a little bit further than the normal fan, so I'd rather just do it privately. So it's well, he's itching to get back into the game, or none of that stuff. Man, I'm happy to be where I am, but I'm still a fan. I like being around the game. I like watching the game.
And it's Jordan, the fan, with a player's eye, who watches a replay of the Bulls' futile attempt to win Game 5.
All right, now, y'all got to stop.
Well, he's batting .231. He has stolen 10 bases in 16 tries. And in the quiet moments in the clubhouse, he marvels at the players around him in AA, players who cannot even afford room service, who play for pennies for the love of a game. And that love of baseball has sustained Michael Jordan now 6 weeks into the season through Game 5 last night. If you love hockey, then you will appreciate the atmosphere.
Always reschedule for tonight or tomorrow or later sometime. Smells good.